Hey guys, big Bioshock fan. If you guys haven't noticed yet, I haven't really discussed much about Bioshock on my channel, but it is something I kind of want to incorporate because you guys know that I'm kind of a jack of all trades, even though I'm primarily focusing on fighting games right now because I'm about to enter my first fighting game tournament, which I hope I do decently well and see where I stand in the community, if I'm good, bad, sloppy, what I need to change, but that's not what we're here for, and I'm not going to ramble on. So let's talk about Bioshock 3 and kind of what I hope to see. Now, regarding Bioshock, we haven't heard much about the franchise since Burial at Sea, which was the very successful DLC conclusion to the Bioshock 1 and the Bioshock Infinite story, kind of tying up everything and showing why it was such a great game through just storytelling, environment. You could go back and forth on the gameplay. I thought the gameplay was alright in Infinite. I really enjoyed the gameplay in Bioshock 1. That's why I go back to that game so frequently. It's a lot of fun. You could say it felt a little bit more clunky having to go choose the plasmids and stuff like that, but I mean, it was kind of more or less the same. You had to kind of pick your plasmids, or not your plasmids, but whatever they called it in Infinite. I can't even remember because it's been so long since I played it, but I probably will give it another playthrough another time because it's a very phenomenal game. If you guys have not played the Bioshock games, I highly suggest you checking this out and not just listening to me ramble and kind of fanboy out about my perceptions of Bioshock 3, how I think it's going to do, and so on and so on. So, Ken Levine, the creative director, who everybody really praises, kind of like the Gabe Newell of this series, he's the guy that we think put together all the story. He's the creative director, like I just said, and like I said, we think he put together the story and everything that's amazing into the, like, some of the elements such as the characters, the design of the world, and just everything that made Bioshock and separated it from the rest of the pack. So what I hope for Bioshock 3, now I haven't really been thinking too much about this, but I have been thinking a little bit about it. Like, what if we saw a Bioshock 3 teaser? But let me kind of finish the point I was trying to make about Ken Levine. So Ken Levine does not work with Take-Two anymore, and Take-Two, I think they published and developed the Bioshock games, which did pretty well. If you look at the reviews for all three games, like Bioshock 1, 2, and 3, or for Bioshock 1, 2, and Infinite, they all did fairly decent. Now, the special thing about Bioshock 2, especially given the fact that Bioshock 1 came out in 2008 and Bioshock Infinite came out in 2013, was that these games were connected and they were both directed by the helm from Ken Levine. And Ken Levine, very praised guy, very good at storytelling, etc., etc. So the thing about this is that, like Bioshock 2, Bioshock 3 will not be directed by Ken Levine. Now, should we worry about this? Now, Ken Levine, we've talked about him a lot. Anybody that likes Bioshock knows about him. They know about his prowess, but when we compare games like Bioshock 1 to Bioshock 2, we fail to kind of see how great Bioshock 2 would have been. Like, honestly, if that game came out prior to Bioshock 1, and if Bioshock 2 is Bioshock 1 and Bioshock 2 was Bioshock 1, then it wouldn't look as bad because it looked like a general progression. However, it's kind of like Bioshock 2 took a couple steps back in the storytelling department, and then there were some other problems with it, but overall, it was a good game. But you can't help but to compare one game to the next. Like, for example, if like the whole Battlefield 3 and Battlefield 4 comparison, or for fighting game players, Street Fighter 3 and Street Fighter 4. Some people like Third Strike better than 4, and some people like Battlefield 3 better than Battlefield 4. Whether it be map design, character balance, we all have different pessimistic views on these games, and we can't fault our opinions thinking that, hey, it's a great game. But what we can conclude is that it is a good game, but we're going to have problems because there's always going to be comparison. It's human. It's just kind of a human instinct to immediately compare something to something. Like if somebody gets a new iPhone, you get like the new Android, oh, let's compare. Like, it's just something we can't stop ourselves from doing. So when you compare games like Bioshock 2 and Bioshock 1, through reviews and everybody else's opinion was overall better, but you have to also remember that nostalgia feeling that Bioshock 1 was a great game. Furthermore, you're going to have to remember that Bioshock 1 was the very first introduction that we had into the world of Rapture, where my friend Oliver lives, and just this amazing world that we were presented with that we could kind of free roam in if we truly wanted to. I mean, it was a pretty open game for the most part, until kind of the end, but then again, not everybody would just explore, but it just, that feeling of the whole Rapture was gone, and that's kind of what everybody likes. Like, you go from this lighthouse and you just go down into Rapture, and it's just beautiful. And I played it on PC, and the graphics were pretty good for the game and what it is. I would argue that the game aged pretty well. So when we talk about Bioshock 3, we think about Bioshock 2. Now, Bioshock 2, like I stated earlier, is not a bad game. However, it's lacking the story-driven, very well-developed characters, and kind of this, I guess, world fashion. Because I'm going to be honest, maybe Bioshock 3, based on the track record, it could be set in either Rapture, or it could be set in, wow, I really need to play Infinite because I can't even remember the world. It's gonna click in my mind. It's gonna fuck up this commentary even more, mid commentary. But it could be in that place above the clouds. Yeah, we all get high when we play Bioshock. Oh, it's up in the clouds. But honestly, I feel like Bioshock 3 will not be as good as 1 in the Infinite storyline, unless they kind of hook together Bioshock 2 and 3. But then again, we also have to remember that Ken Levine will have nothing to do. He kind of took his crew and did something in the indie scene, which honestly you can't really blame him, because producing AAA games like that, and also with a lot of hype riding behind your back on the games, how much it's changed from E3 to the 2013 release. We can't say that AAA development is the same as it was in the past. It's just a lot more rushed out and stuff like that. Rushed out. There's a lot more controversy behind the games. And I don't want to get too into that in this commentary, but when it comes to Bioshock 3, I definitely want them to do something different from the Infinite world and the Bioshock 1 world. But they went up and they went down. They made the comparison to going up and down, and it's been a recurring theme in both the games, especially in Barely Let's See when you play as Elizabeth, and it goes into so much depth about why it's so much different from going to the Infinite world to the Bioshock 1 world. So, well, I've not done a commentary in a while. My throat's like dried. It's really awkward. But tell me what you guys think about Bioshock 3. If you think it will be the successor. If you think we'll see something at E3 about it. Because if Take-Two release a trailer for Bioshock 3, I will be very excited. And I will probably do a trailer breakdown for that game. Because I'm probably going to be more hyped for that than I am about Arkham Knight coming out within less than 20 days. Wow. This gets delayed again. So, yeah, tell me guys' thoughts about Bioshock 3, Ken Levine making his own game. And overall, if you think that if Bioshock 3 and 2 would be connected, if you think it would surpass what Infinite Bioshock 1 did, tell me guys' thoughts in the comment section down below. Be sure to subscribe for more Bioshock gaming news. And the rest, you guys kind of know what I'm about by now. Be sure to subscribe, comment, like, and have a good one.